time?
25 till.
Back now to the show office.
After a full day of intense flesh and blood work performing autopsies on 2 homicide victims, Dr. Tracy Corey leaves the lab far behind and heads for Lexington, Kentucky. She's here to accept an award for competitive equestrian riding, a passion that's a world away from her demanding life as a medical examiner.
Of course, now number 497, Tracy Corey and Supernova.
Good boy.
Carry over 4.
We all cope with the stress of the job in different ways. Some of us paint. A lot of pathologists like to cook because it's procedure-oriented and we get to use knives, I think.
Straight into the water at 17.
Actually, Tracy Corey, Kentucky's chief medical examiner, is more comfortable in the saddle than in the kitchen. She says it's been that way for a long time. How long?
Oh gosh, as long as I can remember, every little girl wants to go ride a pony. I was just lucky enough to live in the horse capital of the world and was lucky enough to have parents who helped me be able to ride as a child.
But her youthful goal of riding competitively was sidetracked by medical school and then children.
And all of a sudden I turned around at 43 and said, if I'm ever going to ride, I better do it now.
Her husband and fellow groom, who helps her prepare for competitions like this one in Florida last winter, was involved in that decision. Sort of.
Hey.
I said, so, you know, I'm thinking about, I'd like to maybe get a horse again. So he said, so, okay, so we'll need to talk about that. And then I came home and I said, I bought a horse. And he said, I thought we were going to talk about it. So we did.
Her idea of talking about it and my idea were 2 different things.
How she approaches this hobby is exactly how Dr. Corey lives her life, with compassion and drive. The compassion is evident in her choice of horses to ride. Instead of fancy show horses, Tracy takes broken down thoroughbreds and retrains them for a new career. Her drive is clear in how she's attacked her sport, successfully, at full throttle.
I'm very obsessive compulsive, you know. I'm very attentive to detail. I'm very goal oriented. And so for me, it's a great outlet.
So it's no surprise that she's quickly become a top equestrienne. It's a demanding sport, and not exactly what most people would consider relaxing.
The relaxation is in the focus away from work.
In the case of the double homicide, Dr. Corey has done her part. Now the investigators have to follow up. Lead Detective Chris Middleton, who started gathering evidence on the case in the alley and then the garage, has been working just as hard on his end of the investigation. Here he is running down a lead in New Albany, Indiana, just across the river from Louisville.
This apartment behind me is of interest to us due to the fact our victim, Anthony Howes, was living here on January the 14th.
That was 3 weeks before the fatal shooting in the alley. A man came to Anthony's apartment complex looking for Anthony's girlfriend, Ashley Yennis.
Anthony told him she's not here. At that time, the door was immediately kicked in.
The intruder was brandishing a gun.
There was actually a shot fired. Our male victim was able to break free and ran down the steps into the front yard you see behind me. When he came out, he was only in his underwear and did have a lot of blood visible on him.
Now, Detective Middleton is searching for a possible connection between the 2 shootings. And in looking for the link, he's been working closely with the families of Anthony and Ashley.
I'm receiving great cooperation from the family and friends.
And he's also getting cooperation from this man, Christopher 2X, a local community leader who crusades against violence. 2X helped persuade the families to meet with the police.
They were very kind of reluctant to open up to them, and I told them it's in their best interest if they want to solve this complex puzzle.
The community leader also has found ways to keep the case, which has become big news in Louisville, front and center. He's organized a news conference with Ashley's mother, Angela Thompson.
Why? Just why? Why would you want to do that? Would you take my baby from me?
Angela says she knows who would want to kill Ashley. She suspects a former boyfriend and possibly the same man who, according to Detective Middleton, had wounded Anthony at his apartment.
From what I hear, Ashley was running because this whoever was looking for her, threatening to kill her. That's what I hear.
And why do we think that she was running? Why was she being threatened, I guess, is the other question.
Because she didn't want to be with that man. And I guess he wanted to be with her, and she didn't feel the same that he felt, and he told her he was going to kill her, and that's what he did.
That's what you think he did.
That's what he,
yeah,
that's what I think he did.
But whoever killed her daughter, it's left Angela Thompson with a gaping hole in her world.
She was my best friend. My best friend.
The other victim, 20-year-old Anthony Housey, also is missed terribly by his relatives, who asked Christopher 2X to speak for them.
Grew up loving sports. His interest was basketball and football. His family is so heartbroken by what happened to him.
Ashley loves SpongeBob SquarePants. That's why we got SpongeBob as our symbol of the hope that Ashley gives.
On Tuesday night, Christopher 2X continued to keep the case in the public eye, organizing a vigil for Ashley and Anthony in the same alley where their bodies were found.
The one who thought that they killed the spirit of a whole family and killed the friendship of friends that Ashley and Anthony had, that's for naught.
Police are paying their respects, but also keeping the lines of communication open.
These vigils are very important for us in solving these crimes. Christopher 2X puts this in a positive light to where people want to give us information. I've already had 2 or 3 people come up to me and mention a few things to me. Some of it we already know, some of it we don't.
Are police getting any closer?